Hi, it's Sandy from CraftySandyStampin'Up.net. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Victoria, Australia. Thank you for visiting. The card today I'd like to share is a fun fold. It opens up like this. It folds flat to go into a standard C6 size envelope. On the back, it's been decorated for you to write your sentiment. Today I'd like to use the Delicate Dahlias. Now, I've made quite a few cards using this stamp set, and it's a free stamp set with any $90 purchase from the mini catalogue. There's some gorgeous things in here. I have to say that I've fallen in love with virtually the whole of the catalogue, but for any $90 spend or order, you can choose a free gift from the Celebration catalogue. Now today, as I said, I'm using the Delicate Dahlias, and there are so many different versions that you can use this stamp set for. There's lots of different free gifts with any $90 purchase. If you'd like a catalogue, just let me know and I'll post it out for you. Right, today, because I made this little one just as a play, I was just playing with the ideas, and I thought, how about using the soft pastels? So, my box of soft pastels, which are Stampin' Up, and I haven't used pastels in a long time since I was actually painting a long while ago. But with using the pastels, it's unusual, it's fun, and I find the best way to use them is with the sponge daubers. Now, Stampin' Up! Have the sponge daubers. I believe there's 5 in a packet. I'm not quite sure of the price, but they're really fun to play with. Now, to get the pastels to go from this, I've used an old paint palette of mine, and just need to grab the pastel, and I use a knife, a craft knife, and just scrape it into the palette. I find a palette is easier because then if I knock it, it doesn't always go everywhere. Just give it a pat and pop it back. We'll have some more garden green. As you can tell, I opened my packet and it fell out. So I've got a bit of a cracked one there, but it doesn't stop me using it. Now the pastels are soft, as you can tell, because I've dropped it. You do tend to get a bit sticky with the chalk, but it's a fun way of using the pastels. And my upline Jenny, she has been longing for me to make this video. She does workshops and I love going to them, and it's such fun. But with the way things are in the world at the moment, and we are in lockdown, so it does make life a little bit more difficult. Now, for the card, this is going to be a fun fold card. The measurements are for the base. We have 9 1/4 by 5 1/2, scored at 1 1/2, 2 3/4, 6 1/2, or 7 and 7 3/4. Now, if you want to be a little bit on the make it easy for yourself, just turn the card around and score it at 1.5 and 2 3/4. Now with your bone folder, and I'm getting chalk on it, just score it. And if you should see any lines where it looks a little bit rough, just run it over with your bone folder, because sometimes when you're cutting it, you'll get a little bit of a rough edge. Right, that's the card shape. Now we have a piece for the top mat, is 4 by 5 1/4. The base card, which I've chosen, and it's just disappeared on me. Where did that go? There it is. The base card is 4.5 by 5.5, and that will sit just on there with the top mat over it. I've cut 2 pieces for the side panels, 1 1/4 by 5.5. You need 2. And for the back, 3.5 by 5 1/4, and you'll also need a scrap of card, because on the blue one that I made, I've made a little bag, a little shopping bag with some tissue. It was just a quick idea, and I'll show you when we get to that. But I'm using the delicate dahlias instead of the quiet meadow. That's the flower for the quiet meadow. Right, let's get started. We'll pop those out of the way for a moment. Make sure we've got the right piece. Right, for this we need some Versamark ink. Now Versamark is a clear glue-like ink pad. It's a wee bit sticky, so it's perfect for stamping and using the pastels on. Now I've got the large dahlia flower. Give it a good squash onto the pad, and we'll pop it just about there. I find that it's best to stamp one piece at a time. You probably won't be able to see that, but I can. It's just a little bit too inconspicuous. Anyway, now let's start. I have got, where are we? I forgot the colours. We have Coastal Cabana, which is the darker one. We've got Daffodil Delight, Gorgeous Grape, Granny Apple Green, Mango Melody, Mossy Meadow, Night of Navy, which is this one, and Poppy Parade. Now I'm going to be using Night of Navy. I find it's best to tap it in and then just tap it over the ink, and you'll, quite by magic, you will see the image of the dahlia come out. Now you can be really heavy-handed with this, or you can be really delicate. You may see in my palette there's a couple of pinks. Now for some reason Stampin' Up didn't give us a pink, but as I've had my pastels for a long time, I thought, well, I would just pop a couple of the pinks in with it. Now that's the darker one. I just pop that in the centre. I found that the Gorgeous Grape is a little bit too dark for what I want. Now that just gives it a little bit of colour, because dahlias can be quite very colourful, although I haven't grown them in a long time. We seem to go more for ones that will last a long time. It gets pretty hot here, and right, now let's have some leaves. Oops. I re-inked my pad, which you can do. You can get the re-inker for the Versamark pad from Stampin' Up. It comes out pretty thick, so it took me a minute or two to squeeze it out of the bottle, but anyway, we're fine. Right, we'll use Granny Apple Green to start with. Just pop it over where you know you've got the ink. It does show up, but it's pretty pale. Go over on the other side. That gives like an undercolour. Now we go in with Mossy Meadow, and it will just pop out. It just gives it that lovely shaded green colour. I find that you don't need to use an awful lot. I don't generally press too hard either. I actually have made quite a few cards using this method, and they turn out really lovely. Right, that's that one. Might do another one slightly at the bottom. It's always best to try and clean your stamps as soon as you can, because Versamark is a little bit on the sticky side. Shall we go there or shall we go there? May just a little bit there. Right. Actually, what we might do is Coastal Cabana. As I'm sitting down, I hope you can see me, which you probably can't. There we go. There. Now we just go in the middle. There's a little bit of Night of Navy, just to lift it a little bit. Try a little bit of the pink. Actually, that's better. I just rub over that. Now, we're doing just a little piece at the bottom of the leaf. Just pop that there. Wrong one. Granny Apple Green. Mossy Meadow. It's amazing how putting one colour on top of the other changes it completely. You can always go back over, as you can hear it squeaking a little bit, just to darken it up a tad more. There. You could, if you wanted to, use an eraser to take out any of the colour that you're not happy with, but I'm quite happy with that one. And there we go. I think we should be about right. Now let's just put one on the back. Pop that there out of the way. I will do just half of the flower. We'll go in with the Night of Navy. As long as you have the Versamark ink pad, the Pastels, you could make any image just pop by itself. We'll do the purple with this one. Right. I don't think it needs to have leaves scattered all over it. Sometimes less is more, as they say. Touch of Mossy Meadow. And here we go. Just about right for the back. Pop those out of the way. And that's the back of the card done. I'll pop those there. Right, for the sentiment of this one, I've used, pop the lid on that in case I stab myself, I've used the sentiment from Little Card Big Thanks from Flowers of Friendship. I was going to use this little flower from Beautiful Friendship, but I think I'm quite happy with the card the way it is, so we won't worry about that one. If I show you, this is just a piece. It's 1.5 by 2 inches. Now if I just pop that there, I hope you can see it, and we'll just put a little corner of the Dahlia on it. Might do that again. We'll do the Coastal Cabana for this one. It's like magic, really is. I think it's a fun way to add a design or an image, or not necessarily image, but a stamp to any card that you're designing, because after all that's what we do, don't we? We take a product and we design it and make it our own. There we go. Now that will be a little handbag or a little shopping bag. Now I've popped 2 pieces of the silver thread from Simply Elegant Trim. Now I've just cut 2 pieces. Now a little tip, because they just unravel all by themselves, what I do is I cut a couple of slits in the cardboard and then press the tape or the trim in the groove that I've cut, and voila, it stays. Anyway, I've already cut 2 pieces. I've taped them to a spare piece of card, which is just 2 pieces with some double-sided tape. Take off this backing, and just so I don't get it everywhere, we'll tuck those little pieces up. Now we have handles for the bag. Pop that over. Press the tape onto there, and now we have a little bag, which I think is quite cute. There we go. Now that can sit on the front of the card. Now, the sentiment. What I've done is I've stamped little card, big thanks. I've taken a piece of the brain's gone. Oh, not Magenta Madness. Oh, Fresh Freesia. And I've used the double oval punch. Now, I wonder if that would fit in there, but I don't really want the two white ones, so that's that one, but I do want the Fresh Freesia. Pop that out of the way. Now we can pop that one on top of there, and perfect. You know, when you're recording in a space you don't normally sit in and you leave something in the other room? Well, that's what I've done. I haven't brought my dimensionals with me, so I have to sit flat onto the card, which is a bit of a bother, but such is life. Right, now let's put this card together. Now we have these 2 pieces which have been embossed with, when I can find it, and it's gone walkabout. No, it hasn't. There it is. I've used Tasteful Textile embossing folder. I can never remember the name of this one, so I have to look at it every time. Right, now we shall pop some glue onto these. I don't mind Tombow glue, and for a finer point I pop it into one of these. I find it easier, and I'm wearing less of it if I do that. Right, we'll pop that there. I love this card shape. It's so easy to do and it looks quite impressive when it's finished. And should you get any little bits, no, missed it, that's good. Right, for the centerpiece, what I generally do is I put the glue on here, because then that way I'm not going over the edge. I don't like it to fit exactly. I like just that little bit extra. So we'll put the glue on here. Might be easier if I open it up. Make sure you've got equal sides. And give it a bit of a rub. Could even turn it over. And while we've got it turned over, we may as well put this one on. There's nothing on there yet, so it doesn't matter which way up it is. We just pop that there. There. And there's plenty there to write on. If you're a big writer on cards, I'm going to say you've got the sides as well, should you run out. Right, there we go. Now we'll just pop on this piece. Once again, I'm putting it onto the card rather than onto the back mat, just to make sure I don't get glue where I don't want it. Once again, open it up. And then we can basically, there we go, pop that on there. And even though it's Versamark ink and you've popped the pastels on, you can still give it a rub and there's nothing on my fingers. So that's a nice little tip. I really enjoy using the pastels. Right, card's nearly finished. So we can pop the, give it a bit of a curl. That would be better if I'd bought my, never mind. I'll pop that there with a sentiment on there. It's funny, there's always something I forget. Never mind. Not to worry. Pop that there. And if you should have just a spare piece of tissue, not that sort of tissue, tissues for wrapping up little secrets in boxes and things. All you need is just a little square and tuck it inside there, fold it and tuck it inside. Now this will have to sit there. Actually, what we'll do is we'll just put the glue on that piece. Hold it for a second or two. There we go. One finished card, and it's so easy to do. I think we might need some gems on this. Let's see what we've got. Really, I don't think they're any good. What about, no, they're too big. So it's going to have to be basic rhinestones. So we might have a large one. Pop one there. Pop one there. Have a couple of tiny ones. Pop one on the other eye. There we go. That's one very pretty card. Didn't take too long, and as I said, I love the style. It's easy to fold up and to post. There it is. And it fits quite nicely. Ow, I've made it a little bit too big, but not to worry. I've overdone the edges, but I can trim that anyway. But generally they fit into a C6 size card envelope. Okay, right. Now, I think we've just about finished everything, and if you would like one of the new mini catalogues that run from August to December, just let me know and I'll pass one out for you. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, click the red subscribe button below and the little bell to be notified when I upload a new video. Give me a thumbs up or leave a comment or both, and thank you for joining me today. Stay safe, happy crafting.